Hello again, it's April here and welcome back to another video. I haven't been around for a while, I've been super busy, but I thought I would pop in today with probably a long rambling video. It's going to be all about picture books. So if you like picture books, children's book illustrators, good things like that, then you'll love this video. If that's not for you, not a problem. Maybe stick around and see if you get inspired anyway. So this is probably going to be possibly the last video I film in this art room. I may get around to filming another one tomorrow or next weekend, but I am packing up today, so everything that you see here, all the shelves behind me are going to be empty. The wall possibly may be empty. It's just going to be you, me in a white room. So I'm not sure if I have time to film because basically we are moving. Surprise! We're moving house. It was a surprise for us as well. But we're going to be, let me just have a sip of water. It was a surprise for us as well, but hey, these things happen. So we're going to be moving on to a new house, which means in the future a new art room tour. Whoop whoop. But I thought I would do a nice little video today, hopefully it's going to be nice, all about picture books and my favourite illustrators, my favourite books, why I choose them. Because I was gonna put them in a box and then I remembered, hey, wasn't I meant to do a video about this? So that's what we're gonna do. A video all about my picture book collection. It's quite large, not as large as some, that's what she said. But I have categorized them into several different categories, kind of like analysed why I picked them. I think that's quite interesting as well to know for me and maybe for you guys. So yeah, let's just get on with it. Let's look at my picture book collection. So the first category was pretty easy. It's basically books by my favourite illustrators whose books I will buy even if I don't know what they are. So like this one here, which I'm pretty sure is a new book I picked up yesterday. I literally haven't looked through it. I was just like, Oliver Jeffers, let's go. So number one, Oliver Jeffers. Guys, if you are into children's books, picture books, things like this, you will probably know who Oliver Jeffers is. He is an amazing illustrator. And I think I have nearly all of his books, maybe. So these are the ones I have. Here we are, haven't read it yet, but it looks amazing. This one is A Child of Books, and it was illustrated by Oliver Jeffers, but written by someone else. It's written by Sam Winston, I think. But yeah, I love Oliver. This book is very different from his other books as well, like with the style. It's very, like, what's the word, experimental, I guess, with the words and kind of like this collage, but it has his very recognizable handwritten font here. So this one is about a child who's made of books, I guess. It's really cool, collagey, very different. I can't spend too long on each book because I have so many. This one is quite a new one. There's a ghost in his house. This one is amazing. It's kind of like experimental as well. Uses photos with illustrations, and then each other page is tracing paper where if you flip it over you can see the hidden ghosts in each image, which is so cool. This book was super expensive, probably because I guess it would have taken quite a lot of money to like produce, but so worth it. It's awesome. And do you guys believe in ghosts? I do, so there we go. This is an old one. I found it in a charity book shop, a book charity shop. I found it in a shop. The Incredible Book Eaten Boy. It's really cool. It's about a boy who starts eating books, and it's kind of like collage with illustration. It doesn't have his font that he uses in a lot of his books, but you can definitely tell it's him from the style of the characters. This is a very new one too, Meanwhile Back on Earth. I think this one's very similar, or like maybe even like a follow-on from here. But this one is basically this guy's taking his kids somewhere, but they drive basically through the galaxy. It's really cool, and it talks all about like the wars and you know, people basically always having wars and fighting and not getting on. And yeah, it's really cool. They turn into little spacemen at the end. I just love his stuff so much, and I think he writes most of his books and illustrates them, which is something I would love to do in the future. I think that sounds amazing. This book here is called The Boy. It's actually an anthology. Is that the name for a collection? It's an anthology of all of his books that feature the little boy character. So How to Catch a Star, Lost and Found, The Way Back Home, and Up and Down. And the thing I love about this book is some of the pages show his process. So sketches from his sketchbook page, ideas, color studies, and then it goes into the actual book. So you can kind of see, you can see how the book was concepted, and then you can read the book. And it's a really nice big chunky one. So if you are interested in the process or anything like that, this one's definitely a fun one to have. I think this character is probably what Oliver Jeffers is the most well known for. Alright, so that was Oliver Jeffers. My next absolute favourite illustrator, I would probably say the favourite, is John Bond. So I found this book a while ago, I guess maybe a year, I'm not sure when it came out, but I found it a while ago and I fell in love with it so much. The character is called Minnie Rabbit Not Lost. The character, the colours, the story, the style, like with this cool half-tone effect. I think it's digital, but it's like quite painterly as well. And the different compositions, like there's panels in this one, there's full page spreads. It's just so cool, all the texture and everything. So this is probably my favourite children's book, Minnie Rabbit Not Lost. And then he also has Minnie Rabbit Must Help, which is also a nice one, and Minnie Rabbit Come Home. So those are his 3 Minnie Rabbit books. And I also bought some prints when he had a sale a while ago, so I have to put those up in my new house. This is his new book, Much Too Busy. I also bought this yesterday. I haven't opened it. I haven't even read it yet. I was just like, John Bond, yes please, I know it's going to be awesome, so I just got it and I'm looking forward to reading this later. I'll probably read my new ones before I pack them into my box. And the last one I have from John Bond was illustrated by him but written by someone else. It's called Dogs in Disguise, and I actually saw this book so many times on the bookshelf and I didn't pick it up because it is quite different than his other books, like the Minnie Rabbit books, but the story about the dogs dressing up is actually the cutest thing ever. So I would definitely, like, if you have kids that like cute books, you know, that you have to read stories to, or if you yourself like picture books, or even dogs, yeah, definitely this is a fun one. Dogs in Disguise. And then, so I think my 3 favourite illustrators are probably a little bit cliche. Like Oliver Jeffers, pretty much everyone knows. The next one's John Classen, who I think it's probably cliche to like have him as your favourite, but it's fine. I don't own many books by him. I do want to get them all, but I have read them all. So this is John Classen. This is my favourite book that he's illustrated. It's written by Ted Kuza, and it's a lot different than his other ones, like I Want My Hat Back, things like that. But the style in it is so gorgeous. It's like this kind of digital, it looks almost like digital, well it is digital, but it's something like collage, kind of like the layers are all on top of each other. There's so much texture. I love how he just uses, like sometimes he just uses so much empty space here, and yeah, it's really nice. You don't really see the characters much. The colours are gorgeous, everything about it, and also the story itself is really beautiful too. So that's A House Held Up by Trees. And then I have The Rock from the Sky, which is a really cool book. I think it's like several books in one, and this is his very classic kind of, with very simple characters, simple shapes, simple story, lots of repetition, but it's just so good. Like his work is just amazing. I mean, I know that everyone's like copied him over the last, I don't know, several years. I actually saw a book the other day in a shop and I actually picked it up. I thought it was John Classen, and then I saw it was someone else who had literally ripped off his bear character and it looked exactly like him, and I was like, bro, that's not cool. So that's John Classen. He's got a whole other bunch of books. I do want to collect them all one day, just like Pokemon. But yeah, there's just so other, like, I've read them, so I kind of feel like I just want to get new books. And special mention to, I didn't know where to put this book else in my categories, a special mention to Emma Carpenter, who you guys may know from Instagram or YouTube. So I've known Emma for a long time on online, and she's really lovely. She illustrated and self-published this book last year, I believe. So I picked it up. I wanted to give her support, and also it's a really cute little story, and I followed the progress on her YouTube, so I kind of felt invested by the book in the book. So yeah, this is kind of just, yeah, I didn't know where else to pop this, but I wanted to show Emma's book as well. The next category is very, very short. It's one book, and this category is nostalgia. So maybe in the future I will put some other books to the collection, but basically this is a book from childhood. I just wanted to buy it again when I was buying kids books. It's The Tiger Who Came to Tea. I'm sure a lot of you know it. It was my absolute favourite book when I was younger. I think I would tell you why it was my favourite. It's such a silly reason, but the tiger came to tea, basically. He ate everything in the house, he drank everything in the house. So the illustrations themselves, like if you look at this, I don't know, I think the people in it are a little bit derpy. Like I think the tiger is awesome, but the people's faces sometimes can be a little bit strange, I think. So, and the illustration style itself, I think is quite like dated now. I don't think you'd see many illustrations like this, but it's definitely nostalgic, like reading it again. So the reason why I love this book so much when I was younger is not because of the tiger, not because of the illustrations. It was this last page here where the dad came home, and because everything in the house had been eaten and drunken, they all went out for dinner. So literally the favourite part of the book was because they all went out for dinner. I just realised how shiny this book is as well. Okay, so because I have the lights on right now, but I just thought that was really funny. I loved this spread when I was younger. It's night time, you can just tell it's cold, everyone's wrapped up, and they're all going out to get to the cafe to have a meal. And when I was younger, we didn't go out for a meal very often. Like, it was a super luxury to go out to the restaurant. So I don't know, that's kind of the reason why I love this book so much. So yeah, that was nostalgia. So this next category is a bit weird. It didn't really fall into the other ones, and I guess I could say cute characters or like a cute story or an interesting story. So it didn't kind of fall into the other ones, but it's crazy, a lot of different styles in here. But one thing I guess that links them all is the characters are all kind of cute, or the story's kind of cute. So this one here is Bagel the Lucky Cat, and I heard about this from when I was doing the children's book course by the guys from SVS. A couple of times they mentioned this book, and they mentioned a couple of others that I've bought. And yeah, this is kind of like a strange book, honestly. It's very interesting. It's like almost not even children's book illustration. It's kind of like just, it looks almost like screenshots from a Nickelodeon TV show. It's very weird, but I really love the scenes in it. Like, it's so different than anything I would ever think to do, which is most of the times when I buy a book is something either I want to do or something that I never would have thought to do. But yeah, it's a very strange book, this one. Okay, this one here, I love the characters in it, but also I love the story. It's I think it's called Wrong. But it says, I will not share, I do not care. And it's basically about this little pig who's, I think the pig's like super greedy, which is what I loved about him. And he basically is like so mean. He bullies all the animals, and I don't know why, but I just love that about him. So like he's Hog, and basically he bullies them. He goes in the swings, he steals their food, he doesn't share. And then at the end, basically this tiger is like, nah bro, I'm way bigger than you and scarier than you. And then that's kind of the end, like the hog learns his lesson. I mean, I think it would have been funnier if the hog had scared the tiger and the tiger ran away. But just look at this character design here. It's so gorgeous. So yeah, I think this one is probably a combination between the story and the characters. It's just super cute. The next one is the Mist Monster. This one here, the Mist character itself I thought was really interesting. It's a style that I wouldn't, I don't think I would ever do myself. It's quite soft, lots, like the Mist Monster, obviously he's mist, right? So all the pages are quite dreamy and misty. But I thought the idea was super interesting because he's kind of see-through. I actually wonder how they did it. I think it's probably all done digitally. But yeah, so I have this one. It's not something I think I would ever want to illustrate myself, just because it's very, I don't know, it's just very like dreamy, and it's not something that I like soft, you know. But yeah, it's a pretty cool idea, I thought. Okay, this next book cracked me up so much. I laughed the entire way when I was reading it. It's called Monster Hungry Phone, and I just love it so much. And also I've been really enjoying monsters lately, like drawing them and looking at different characters. So this one's about a monster who's hungry. It's basically my biography. And so the monster's hungry and he goes on the phone because he wants to order pizza, but he doesn't quite understand how the phone works. So he phones all the people, all the different people, and they're like, no, I'm not, you have the wrong number. So he gets angrier and angrier the more he phones, and he gets like the wrong number. And then at the end he's like, he's just so mad, but he gets the pizza in the end, which is nice. I think he gets the pizza in the end. I don't know, the pizza guy's biking away with the pizza. Oh yeah, he eats the phone. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert. But yeah, this is a super fun book. I cracked up reading it. Okay, so this one here, I love chickens a lot. And this one is by Anna Walker, who I have a few of her books. It's called Peggy, a brave chicken on a big adventure. So Anna Walker has lovely books. I've actually done quite a lot of studies on her books where I've copied her, like I basically just done like studies where I've copied her spreads or shapes or characters. I do that sometimes with books just to kind of get the feel of how someone else draws. And this book is about Peggy, who wants to go on an adventure. She's kind of like just chilling. She's bored because she's just kind of done everything that she can do. One day she gets blown away to the big city, and this is a kind of a style I don't think I would ever, I don't think I would ever do it, just because it's all watercolor, it looks like, and pencil, but it's traditional, I believe, which I also love. Like I love traditional books because I really want to do, if I get into picture books, I really want to do traditional. And it's even got some collage here, which is really cool. I actually always love seeing collage in books because it's something I would like to do, but I'm always a bit scared to do it. This here I love so much. The chicken, so she's at like the television window and she's looking at the camera, and you can just see all of the Peggies in the television. Just like little details like that is so fun. So yeah, that's Peggy. I just really loved the idea of a book about a chicken. This one here, I just picked it up the other day. I actually realized they have so many of these Saurus books. Like they have, it's basically the something Saurus. So the, I don't know, the angry Saurus or the hungry Saurus. This one's the worry Saurus, which I also relate to. So this one's the Worrysaurus. I wouldn't say it like breaks any, you know, it's not going to win any awards, I don't think, for outstanding innovation or anything. It's just like a flipping cute little monster dinosaur, very cute illustrations, simple colors, like flat kind of colors with some digital textures and stuff. But yeah, the story itself is really cute. Like he learns not to worry so much, which is so nice. And I mean, it's like set in tropical dinosaur world, so yeah, it's really nice to look at. There's quite a lot of books like this. I might collect some more. I probably won't though. Once you have one, I think you kind of have most of them. Oh hey, another book about dinosaurs. This one is Kittens on Dinosaurs, and this book I got purely because it's just cute. So the idea, the story is just so, the idea and the story is really cute. So basically these kittens live on, I guess, Cat Island, and they climb things. So they've climbed everything in the island, and then they basically want to climb bigger and bigger things. So they make a plan to climb the dinosaurs, and all of their like plans are foiled because the dinosaurs are too clever. And then in the end they do find out a way to climb the dinosaurs, but I don't want to spoil it for you guys. So yeah, this one is just purely because it is super cute, and the colours and the shapes and everything were so nice. The last one in the cute, I guess the cute category, is Frank and Bert, who I think there is also another book with these two characters that I've seen. So Frank and Bert is just a little bear and a little fox. I can't even remember what the story. Oh, I can't remember what the story is about. Okay, the story is about, I think, playing hide and seek, and the bear always gets found because he can't really hide. He's so big, he can't really hide anywhere. And then the fox helps him out and stuff. I do love this super bright pink scarf. It's so nice. And it's, again, a style I don't think I ever would do because I'm not really a big fan of like scribbles like this. But I do love the way they told the story, like with the counting and everything, with this string which kind of follows, like you follow the story with the string. And yeah, I just thought it was really nice, and the character's really lovely, especially little fox, so cute. Okay, the next category is colours. So these are books that I picked purely because I love the colour combinations, and on some of them I also really enjoy the story or the characters, etc. But the main reason I picked them is for the colours. So this is a new one I bought yesterday. Again, I haven't read it yet. I just flipped through it. It's called No Such Thing, and I have a feeling, do these glow in the dark? I'm not sure. But it looks really spooky. The thing I liked about it were the colours, obviously. And it kind of has this, I don't know what, is it lithograph? I can't remember. It's like that style of printing, but it's like digital where you do different layers on top of each other. Lithograph? I can't remember the name of it, but it's really nice. You can kind of see it here with a dog where it's blue, where it's not touching the yellow, and then kind of like an off, like a greeny colour. So it's almost like a digital printing, and I thought the colour combination was gorgeous, and I just really loved it. So I haven't read it yet. I'm sure it's going to be awesome though. One thing that I have noticed is neons. So yesterday when I was looking in the children's bookshop, a lot of the books had neons, a lot of them, and it's really funny because I'm super drawn to them because I do love neon colours. And also because they're so bright you can't help but be drawn to them. So this book is, again, it's not in a style I would want to do myself. A lot of these books actually are in styles that I probably wouldn't want to do myself, but they always have some aspect that I really enjoy. So this here is that bright pop of pink. I also do quite like this almost sketchy quality. I think it's nice. I don't know if I would want to do it for a kid's book though. It does seem almost like a little bit unfinished, but I do love that pink and all the colours together. Like, look at that, that's really cool. Oh, I'm just realising I'm completely off the screen. Oh well, whoops-a-daisy. You guys know what I'm talking about. Alright, this one here I bought ages ago. It's really nice. It's absolutely gorgeous. Lights on Cotton Rock, and the story itself is actually so nice. It's kind of like about this girl who sees aliens when she's a kid, and then growing up she waits for the aliens, and they never come until finally when she's older and they come again. But the thing that, I mean, I probably don't even need to say the thing that made me want to get it, is the colours, guys. The colours and the lighting is just incredible, and you can tell this is all done digitally. Like, it just looks like a whole bunch of Photoshop filters on top of each other, but just because they use filters doesn't mean it's bad. I mean, Photoshop filters, things like that, plugins, brushes to help, you know, anything really to help illustration is kind of a positive rather than negative. But yeah, I just loved it. It just has just such a dreamy feel to it. Something I would never do myself, but maybe I could take aspects of it, like the lighting or this kind of like gradient effect, you know, into my work. I think it's always nice, even if it's something that you don't see you doing yourself, or it's something that you don't even think you can do, like you wouldn't be able to do skill level or time or materials. I think it's always nice to be able to take an aspect of work and kind of imagine how you could put it into your work. So that's that one. Hector and the Hummingbird. This was also suggested with the Children's Book Pro course that I was doing, like in one of the talks they did, and I got it because I loved the colours. I looked it up online and I actually had to buy it online because I couldn't find it in the shop anywhere, which is really funny because yesterday I found this in the shop. But I just love the colours. It's also got that printing quality again where everything's like a little bit mismatched. You can kind of see they wanted it to, like, it's almost like they printed it but a little bit off, but obviously done digitally. And the color combination, like, is such a limited color palette, but so nice with the teal, the green, the pink, the brown. This here is a book that I bought when I was first buying books, and I wasn't really picky. It was maybe a couple of years ago. I was just picking books just almost randomly, and I didn't quite know yet what I wanted or what I liked. So if I found this book again today in the bookshop, I probably wouldn't have bought it. So I put it into the colours category because, again, I think the thing that stands out to me the most is the colours. The characters are super cute, but I'm not like a huge fan of it. I think maybe it's a little bit too much for me, and with all the line art and everything, like, it's just not something I particularly probably would be drawn to at this time. But yeah, the colours are really, I mean, look at that pink. You can't go wrong, can you, really? This one here is following a trend, aren't we? Where Happiness Begins. This one is, again, with the colours. It was especially this pink, and also the style that they did it in. So it's like that kind of printing, like digital printing technique again. Which, I mean, this is the third book now that's had it, so maybe I should try it, you know. But this book is about happiness. If I'm going to be honest, I think it was a little bit, the story, it's going to sound really bad, but I thought the story was just a little bit, like, too sweet, like, too preachy almost. Like, it's about being happy, and I don't know, I just didn't like it. I didn't like the story. I was just like, ugh, it kind of feels like just like a lesson. So, but I did really like the little characters and the style and everything, and especially the colours. So that was Where Happiness Begins. This one's about Penguin, Blown Away. And again, the colours I loved. So a lot of the colours in here, it's not like a complete, I was going to say, they do have more colours than, like, this page here has a crazy amount of colours, all greens and stuff. But the colours that I loved to begin with were on this front page here. So it's like this teal, dark blue, and this red. It's like a very limited colour palette. And they have this throughout most of the book until he basically flies away to the jungle, I guess. I can't even remember reading this book, if I'm honest. I don't even know if I read this book. I may just have bought it and not read it. But yeah, I just love the colours. And then he does end up in the jungle, and that's when I think things go downhill a little bit. The second half of the book I'm not a fan of. And the last one is Maybe by Chris Horton, and he's got so many books, guys. I may collect them all, who knows, but he's got such what's the word, he's such a recognizable style. It's very, I would say it's like unique to him, very graphical, and this is about monkeys. I mean, I have the word monkey in my name, so I should like it, right? And basically it's like, it's very simple, but the colours work so well together, the shapes work so well, and the characters are just flipping the cutest. So yeah, this book, I may have to collect more of his because they are really lovely to look at. So those were the colour books. We have two categories left. So this one here is style that I find really interesting or innovative, or something I would like to try. So it's something that I kind of picked up that I thought, wow, that looks awesome, wouldn't that be fun? So this one is called One Fox. It's a counting book, and it's collage, so there's actually quite a lot of similarities between some of these books. Collage is a big thing that I really love, but I have dabbled into it, but I just haven't really given it enough time. and the time that it needs, I think, to kind of become really good at it. This one is a counting book, so it's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, but it follows a story of this fox trying to get the chickens, and the way it's done is actually so clever. Like this page here, look at this page, it's amazing. So yeah, that's that one. The next one is Moon. This is another collage book, and it's very dark, this one. It also has this moon kind of cut out feature here and a receipt. But yeah, lots of texture, collage, very simple cutout shapes. The interesting thing about this book is because it's set at night time, all the pages are very dark, which is kind of, I don't know if it's very, I don't think that's seen often in children's books, because some of these images are actually quite, you have to really kind of stare at them just to see the details. But yeah, it's a really gorgeous book, that one, Moon. So this is Lane Smith. There is a Tribe of Kids, and I really like Lane Smith. I've read quite a lot of his books from the library, because before I bought books a couple of years ago, I started reading them just in the library, which is why I've read a lot of them. But then I thought it's probably better to buy them because then I get the sweet endorphin hit of buying something. And also, if you go to like the bookshop, you'll see all the new books. So sometimes in the library they have like old books, and they won't have the books that are kind of trending, so you can't see like trends, or you can't see who's popular, what styles are popular, kind of things like that. This one here is very, very different. I don't think I would ever do anything like this, just because it's so much texture, so much going on. I just really loved it, and I also really loved the composition that he does. He does a lot of different compositions, like this here, it's like a path, and it's kind of like a zigzag bit here. Things that I think are quite different, you know. This one, Under the Same Sky, is another collage book. So this one has a lot of texture and a lot of collage again. And it's a really, really sweet story. We're all the same, even though we're in different places. We dream the same dreams, we play the same games, we are under the same sky. So, yeah. Alright, this one here I love. The Colour Monster. I'm pretty sure this is like from a series of books, but I found this one and I just really enjoyed it because I thought it was really cool. Again, collage. Are we seeing a theme here? And it's about the colour monster, and he's all mixed up, like all of his colours are mixed up, and this girl helps him. So she's like, all your feelings are mixed up, so we have to separate all of your feelings. So then she gets these little jars out, and she's like, let's you know, this is yellow, it's happiness, I guess. This is blue, it's sadness, and it goes through like all the emotions. I thought it was just a super clever way of doing it, and also the like the images themselves are really lovely to look at. Like it is so energetic and free, which I love. So this one is called Most of the Better Natural Things in the World. What a title. And it's kind of not really a story. It's about this, it's almost like a dictionary for landscape terms, but it follows this little guy, the little tiger with a chair, and he's on a journey. Sorry if it's really shiny, you can't see the page. I'm trying to do this so that the light isn't too much. So yeah, it says like gorge, valley, plain, and it goes through like a whole bunch of different types of landscapes, basically. Estuary, and then we follow this little tiger, and he's got the chair on his back, and he's kind of traveling through the world, and then at the end he meets his family in the tiger. Get it? Tiger. Yeah. And then at the end there's kind of like, it tells you about all the different places that he's been, like what they are. I think that was really interesting. I actually would love to do a book, like a non-fiction book, something like this, or something to do with birds. Definitely something to do with birds. I think that would be awesome. So these two books are from the same illustrator, Coralie Bickford Smith, and she does have another one, I think, which I haven't seen, but her illustrations, it's almost like every page is like art. I don't even know what you would call this, like, is it decorative art? I don't know. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Something I never would do, I never would think to do. I don't even think I would enjoy doing it, but I do really love looking at it. So This is the Fox and the Star, and this one is the Worm and the Bird. And it's kind of different from the other book, but still very decorative and uses patterns and textures and shapes a lot. Very limited colour palette. Yeah, it's just gorgeous. Beautiful books. And then the last one in the kind of like styles that I'm intrigued by, I guess, would be this one here called The Circles in the Sky. This one has a lot of pattern as well. It's actually kind of a sad story. It's about this fox who finds a bird who's died, and I guess it's kind of like maybe a book about grief on loss. Kind of like, I know that there's books out there that help kids deal with different issues and things. I just love the pattern in it. It's almost like a tribal or something, and the colours as well. You can see it's all done digitally, like with all the overlaps and stuff. The colours overlapping like this printing style again. But yeah, he finds the bird. The bird's all sad. It's actually really sad. It's actually a really sad story, but it's just gorgeous. It's a gorgeous story. The moth comes and helps him. The moth helps him kind of understand, like teaches him. So yeah, there's that one. That was, that category was styles I'm intrigued by or would like to try in the future or just think are amazing. So we've come to the last one. This is not actually as big as I thought it would be, the pile, but these are books that I wish I had done or that I wish I could do, like either the style or the theme, I guess. So yeah, this first one is This Pretty Planet, illustrated by Lee White, who is one of the tutors of SVS Learn. And I've never bought one of his books before. I bought this one because it's a lot different than his other stuff. Like, it's based on a song, and it's very, I think it was like super loose, like he could basically make it up himself. So he made the story up, and I think it's really cool how he thought up the ideas to kind of go with the words when basically it was so loose. He talks a lot about it in the podcast, the 3-Point Perspective podcast, and also on the Children's Book Pro, like live streams and stuff. And I think the kind of styles, like collagey, is really nice too. Digital, like all this like really cool compositions and pages and stuff. So yeah, there's that one. This one is another book by Anna Walker, Florette, and I love this book so much because of the plants. So, and also, I mean, it's in the city too, which is nice. It's about Florette, who moves to the city and she misses her garden, and there's no room amongst all of the buildings for trees or flowers, which kind of reminds me of my current predicament where we're moving from the countryside to the town. So maybe that's striking a chord with me. Again, the style is traditional, and it's all mainly watercolour, I think, and coloured pencil. I love the way Anna Walker also draws her kids, and I've copied a lot of these children. Like, I've copied pretty much all of these kids just to kind of like do little studies. And basically, so she starts to grow, she sees this like garden, and she decides to kind of try and grow her own garden. And with the helps of all the neighbourhood kids, they plant trees and stuff, and they grow their own little garden, which I thought was really lovely. So that is Florette. This is Franklin's Flying Bookshop, illustrated by Katie Harnett. And this is interesting because the theme is cool. It's a bookshop, which I love, but it's also got a dragon in it, which I don't think I ever would choose to draw. I love this book. I was drawn to this book because of the illustrations. The style is traditional. Again, I've mentioned I really wanted to get into doing traditional stuff, and I think today with AI and everything the way it is, I think being a traditional artist is probably going to be, I think it's going to be a good thing. Like, it's going to be like a positive. So I'm really always drawn to books when I see them in the shop that are drawn traditionally, just because there's so few and far between. And this is a lovely little story. I mean, each page is gorgeous. Like, sometimes when I look at picture books and I read the sentence and I think, how would I have drawn that? Like, I don't think half the time I ever would have been imaginative to come up with a composition like this. And obviously that's the difference between being a professional illustrator who does picture books or has even done a course for them, and someone who is just learning like me as I go, is, you know, comes with experience, I'm sure. So it's something that I would like to continue to work on, and hopefully one day I can do my own one. Alright, so this book here is one of my absolute favourite books. It's Otto Blotter Bird Spotter, and it's about a boy who loves bird watching, which I'm a little boy who loves bird watching in my heart. And basically the whole family are obsessed with bird watching. They live in like a tree house. So Otto Blotter finds like this little bird, but it's like a really big bird. Like it's a tiny bird, but it's huge. And he takes it home, and it grows and grows and grows and grows into like this huge bird. And I love the story, but I also really liked all the images, like the detail of them, the colours and everything. I think mainly I was just drawn to this book because of birds, honestly. Let's face it, I do love birds. So this book's called Tad, and it's about a little froggo. I think I like this book a lot because of the colours. I mean, honestly, I can't remember now. I can't remember why I like it. I'm looking at it now, I like it. I mean, it's nice. I think maybe it's because the character is so cute and the colours are so nice. Let's just say that, because honestly I've been talking a long time now and I'm quite tired. Okay, this one's Sadie and the Silver Shoes, again by Anna Walker, illustrated by Anna Walker. It's collage. This was the first book I bought that was illustrated by Anna Walker, and I really love it. You should follow her on Instagram if you guys don't. Like, her Instagram's so cool. She makes these little like miniature scenes and stuff. They're really nice. So this is kind of like collage but also traditional. I really loved the forest in the book, and then she like loses a shoe, and she meets this other girl at her school who also has the same shoe, but she like found the shoe. Anyway, it's a nice story, and I just like the way that she draws her children. I think that's really nice. Alright, this one here is Sweep, illustrated by Julia Sada, or is that Julia Sada? Because it's got a little accent at the A, Sada. And it's called Sweep. I didn't really know about the illustrator before I got this book, and then I went online to follow her, and it turns out I was already following her Instagram. When are you going to show us art by people that we follow? Come on. So this one here is about Ed. Ed is not in a good mood, he's in a bad mood. And he starts sweeping because he's so angry. Guys, do you ever do housework when you're angry? Because I know I sure do. It's literally the only time the kitchen's clean. Martin's like, has an argument with me, and then he's like, yeah, the kitchen's gonna be clean now. Haha, sucker. So he sweeps and sweeps and sweeps, and he sweeps the whole town away. He does eventually get out of his bad mood, not until the entire town is filled with rubble though. But I just love the idea of this book. I just loved the imagination of this book, and also, can you imagine drawing every individual leaf? I mean, how long would that have taken? And the character, this character here, the design of him is so cool. So yeah, that is Sweep. I really enjoyed that book. Now we have Dilwis Revenge, another book that I found through SBS Learn. It was recommended as a really good book. So I looked it up, and I loved how dark it was. Like, obviously not the pictures are quite nice and light, lots of white space. I believe it's traditional. It does look traditional. It looks like it's done with watercolor. But the story itself is like super dark. It's basically about this kid called Dilweed, and his parents go on holiday and leave the butler and the maid, and they go a bit bonkers, and they kind of like wreck the house, and they make him do all the chores and everything. It's a really cool book, very cool book, and the style of it's awesome. Like, so much white space, guys. Alright, second to last is The Happy Prince. This is illustrated by Maisie Paradise Sharon. That's the name, isn't it? And I picked this book up because the style of it I really loved, like the traditional kind of messy style. If something I could do, I'm just thinking, like, if a book can be illustrated that has as much texture and as much, like, you know, media, it's not polished, you know, there's hope for me, because I'm not a polisher. I'm very messy. I'm all over the place. So it kind of gives me hope that one day I can have a book published too. It's a nice little book, a lovely little story, and yeah, I definitely pick it up if you like that kind of thing. And then the very last book, last but not least, is What Do You See When You Look at a Tree? So I found this book in Waterstones a while ago, and lo and behold, it's by Emma Carlisle, and I was like, oh hello Emma, yes, I shall have you. A lot of you probably know Emma Carlisle. She's an illustrator on Instagram. She also has a Patreon, which I've joined and left a couple of times, just like, you know, as you do. I'd love to join it again, but I've got Patreon, guys. When you've on so many different patrons, it really adds up, doesn't it? And I've been on Sarah Dye's Patreon, and I'm so behind. I need to catch up. Anyway, enough about Patreon. This is by Emma Carlisle, and I really love this book because I love Emma Carlisle's illustrations to begin with. I love trees, and also it's a non-fiction book, which I think I've mentioned I would love to do. I would love to do non-fiction. When I was in Bologna, actually, one of the guys who I did a portfolio review with, he was looking at all my birds, and he was like, have you thought about doing non-fiction? Because you could do a non-fiction portfolio. And like, you know, try and get a job doing that. And I was like, well, I mean, that's amazing. That's literally read my mind. So that is Like a Tree. Beautiful illustrations, and I enjoyed it a lot. So with that is all of the kids books, all of the picture books. I like to say picture books because even though they're probably marketed, you know, for children, adults can enjoy them too. Many people can enjoy them. Dogs could even enjoy them. Cats, why not? So picture books, that was my whole collection. Those are all the books. There were a lot, I didn't count them, but I also didn't mention the author or the illustrator for each one. Do apologize. If you would like to know any, leave the comment below and I will look it up for you. Or, I mean, all of the titles are there so you can look up the book on the Google or the Bing, depending on what you enjoy. So yeah, I forgot about that. I do apologize. But those are my books. I've been, like, maybe for the last 2 years, I've been buying 3 books a month, roughly. Sometimes more. But 3 books a month has been my budget for books. So I get a Waterstones every month or so and have a browse. So after watching this video, if you think there's a book that I would enjoy adding to my collection, let me know. Also let me know, do you have a favourite illustrator or a favourite picture book? That would be really interesting to hear from you guys. So that's all for today. If you don't see me again in this art room, we will say goodbye. Goodbye, art room. It's been a pleasure, but we're on to new things. So maybe I will see you in the new house on the next video. Until then, have a lovely rest of your day or your week, and I will catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye. Alright, now I'm going to attempt to do the thumbnail. Can I hold all of these books is the question. Oh god, so heavy. Oh god, they're falling. Okay. Okay, that should be good for a thumbnail.